Most creators in YouTube dreams of numbers, the first 1,000 subscribers, the first 100,000 views, and the moment when sponsorships come flooding in and one becomes famous and have millions of dollars. But here is the problem. When you measure your success to the results that you do not control, you are building your creative life on sand. So one tide, one algorithm change, one bad month, and it all collapses. That is why I did something very different. Before I uploaded my first video, and mind you, this is my first video, I made a promise to myself. Not a promise to make it big or go viral, but a promise that if kept would mean that I could never lose no matter what happened to my numbers. I call it the creator's oath, and here it is. A simple promise, but something that changes everything. Here is my promise. I promise that I will create to give value. I will make videos to answer real questions and real problems, to help someone take one step forward and to point them towards the right direction. I will never pretend to be a guru, only a companion on the same road as you. I will post not for views, but for the people who need what I have to share, even if that is just one person, and even if that person is only me. I will create with consistency, even when no one is watching, even when the subscriber count is stuck, even when the algorithm goes blind to my work, because the purpose of my work is not tied to applause, to views, to subscribers, but creating value and of self expression. I will grow alongside my audience, and my measure of success will not be the size of the crowd, but the depth of the change that I helped create. I will keep going for years and years, if I must, until the seeds that I plant take roots in the hearts of those who find them. And that is the Creator's oath. The moment I took this oath, I was free. Free from the trap that kills most creators, the trap of needing results right now. The truth is, most people stop not because they don't have the talent, but because they cannot stand the gap between effort and reward. But if the reward is simply to serve, to create value, then I have already received it the moment I uploaded my first video. One person watches this video and finds even a little bit of value in the future. That is a win. Nobody watches. But if I sharpen my skills and expressed my truth, that is also a win. A million watch later, still a win, but no more than the first two, because my measure is not fluctuating. It is steady. In Vipassana meditation, there is a word called Anicca, Anicca, Anicca. It's a Pali word which means impermanence. It means everything changes, everything passes, nothing is fixed. Your views will rise and fall. Your subscriber count will go up and down. Your motivation will expand and shrink. And when you understand Anicca deeply, you stop clinging to the highs and fearing the lows. Why? Because both are temporary. This is where equanimity comes in, the calm, balanced state where you are not carried away by success or crushed by setbacks. The Creator's oath is my practice of equanimity. It is the anchor that keeps me steady no matter what the waves are doing. Think of a gardener planting seeds. The gardener does not pull the soil every morning to check if the roots have grown. The gardener waters and waits, not impatiently, but faithfully. Views, subscribers, recognitions are like the weather. They change daily, but the gardener's work is not controlled by the weather. The gardener plants because planting is what they do. That is why I know that I have already won, because I am a gardener, because I am already planting the seeds that I needed in the future. If you spend enough time on YouTube or any other platforms or social media, you notice something peculiar or bizarre. Most channels vanish, not because they were scams, not because they lack the skills, but because their creators simply could not keep going when the numbers stopped rewarding them. The pattern is always the same. They start full of excitement, making videos that they care about. The early rush of growth fuels them. Then comes the plateau, the flat line in views, subscribers, the emptiness of creating for an audience that feels asleep, an audience that doesn't care about your content. And slowly, the uploads will stop and they will be forgotten. It is easy to think that these creators failed because they did not get views, but that is not only the reason. It is only in the surface. The real reason is that they built their creative identity on things that impermanence or anicca will eventually take away. They tied their self worth to numbers. They anchored their motivation in applause. They created only as long as the rewards felt worth it. But the moment those rewards faded, as they inevitably do, the ground disappeared beneath them. And here is the paradox: if you want to never fall, stop standing on the ground that shifts. So when you take this creator's oath, you are no longer standing on views, on growth, or fame. You are standing on your own commitment to creating for the sake of giving, for the sake of creating. The ground does not move. Not when your last video gets only 5 views, not when your subscriber count drops, and not even when a year passes with no sign of breakthrough. Your compass does not point to more numbers, it points to more value. And that is why you cannot lose. And meditation. Equanimity is the ability to meet every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, with the same steady mind. You do not cling to the good, you do not resist the bad, you simply keep going. So, for a creator, this means that if a video goes viral, you do not get attached to success. If a video flops, you also recognize it, but you do not despair. You keep making the next thing. This is not emotional numbness, it is freedom. You are not being dragged by the tides of impermanence. You are walking your own path. So when you see it through the lens of impermanence, you stop expecting stability in a world that is unstable. You accept that algorithms can change, audience taste will also change, and even you as a creator will change. And instead of fighting it, you move with it. Your oath is not to a specific style or niche or result. Your oath is to the act of creating with integrity. And that is why it survives every shift and change. The uncomfortable truth is that if you stay in the game long enough, you will eventually become one of the best. Not because you were born to do it, but because everyone else will have to quit. We can see this in every part of our lives. Most creators will not last 5 years or even a year, not because they lack ideas, but because they lack the mindset to survive the stretches of silence when no one seems to care. So when you take this creator's oath, those silent stretches do not kill you. They strengthen you. They are not evidence of failure. They are the gym where your creative endurance is built. This is why I can say with confidence that I have already won. Not because I have millions of views, because I do not. This video might not even get 10 views. Not because I have a massive following, because I also don't. But because I have chosen a game that I cannot lose, where the only way to fail is to quit. And quitting is no longer on the table. That is the power of an oath that is made from the heart. So when I took the creator's oath, I thought it was just for me, a private compass that I would keep in my pocket to guide me through the highs and lows of content creation. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized that this is not just a promise to myself. This is the promise that could save thousands of creators from quitting before their best work ever reaches the world. So creators often suffer in silence, as you can observe. They see their numbers stall and assume that they are alone in their struggle. They look at bigger channels and think that they have it figured out. I must be doing something wrong with my channel. What they do not realize is that many of those big creators are just as trapped as them, held hostage by the need to maintain their success, chasing trends that they no longer enjoy, afraid to change because the algorithm might punish them. A shared oath breaks that isolation. When you know others have made the same promise to create with integrity, to value the work itself over the reward, you are reminded that you are part of something bigger. It is no longer you against the algorithm, it is all of us against the trap. And here's the beauty of the creator's oath: it is not limited to YouTube. Anyone, writer, artist, musician, entrepreneurs, can take a version of it. Even someone who never plans to upload a video can live by the same core. Just promise this. I will do my work with purpose, even if no one is watching. I will measure my success by the value that I give, not the attention that I get. I will keep going, even if my work is invisible. The moment this becomes a shared language, it stops being just mindset. It becomes a culture. And one of the greatest gifts of Anicca or impermanence is that it humbles you in success and comforts you in struggle. When your channel grows, it whispers, "This too shall pass." So you do not get arrogant. You do not cling. You keep working with humility. So when your channel slows, Anicca also whispers the same thing. "This too shall pass." So you do not despair. You do not stop. You keep on planting the seeds. This is why equanimity, calm in both gain and loss, is so central to the O's. Without it, you will be pulled apart by the roller coaster of results. With it, you move steadily forward, letting the seasons pass as you keep tending to your garden. YouTube is temporary. All platforms can change. Even your own style and interests will shift with time. But when you live by the creator's oaths, you are building something that outlasts all of it. You are building a skill. You are building trust. You are building a body of work that, even if buried for years, can be discovered and bring value after you are long gone. For example, Vincent van Gogh did not live to see his art celebrated, but he painted anyway, not because of a guarantee in the future that it will be accepted or celebrated, but because the act of creating was its own reward. The same is true for us. This is my first video, not my best, because my best is still ahead of me, hopefully. Not my breakthrough, because I am not here for breakthroughs. I am here to keep this promise. Every video that I make from this day forward will be shaped by it. And here is what I know. If you take this oath, you will create without clinging to the highs or fearing the lows. If you keep planting the seeds without demanding the fruit, you have already won.